The second is, you might know it beforehand. But the question is, what you already know, are you practicing it? That's the big question. One. Two. People in the field of business generating wealth, are you that 24/7, 365 days in a year? When you go back home, in your bedroom, are you a businessman to your child? And who's this person who's engaged in generating this wealth? Are you taking care of that? Do you go for a conference to build your capacities there? That's a big question. You come to TiECON for increasing your capacities, learning from others' experiences. But this is just one role. Since most of us, we are here who understand Hindi. Do you all understand Hindi? Yes. Sometimes in between, can I, one or two sentences I can use from the vernacular? You are not one individual in this being, you are many. Yes or no? Yes. At different times, you are in different roles. Are you addressing all those in a holistic manner? Otherwise, there is going to be a lag. I know many people, their mind works at a pace, and the physical body completely at a different pace, and there is a huge lag between them. And someday, I don't even want to use those words, what would happen to such people? You and I know, in the corporate world, they say people expend their resource very early. In mid-30s, mid-40s, they have already burnt it. Are you aware of that, and are you doing something about it? A lot of them, as successful people, leaders in this domain, they come on the stage and speak to you. Have you ever wondered, what do they do to be that? We listen to them, but we don't know what do they do in their own privates. Where do they draw their strength from? That's what I thought I would address today. And as the talk is titled as, leading is simple. Sometimes leaders are not. Let me take you through few of very, very simple aspects of life. It might not necessarily be all from the field of business, but it surely would be something which is related to you. And whenever you are in that role of doing business, see what you are doing about it. Can I have that? First line. Willingly, knowingly, intentionally, the slide is very simple. You don't see much material in there. I'm not the one who's trying to impress you with figures. I'm not going to give to work. Many of us are asking this question. How am I going to be a successful businessman? How am I going to generate more wealth? How am I going to reach where that person is? And in the process, you're missing the bus. You're missing what you already have in your hands. Yes or no? Yes. Yes or no? Let's talk about it. You in Chandigarh are a privileged community that will be getting to attend many such sessions periodically, every now and then, whole year long. You listen to speakers who share their stories, their insights with each one of us. You gather more material. The bag is becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. Are you choosing to follow any one of them? That's the big question. I'll share with you something which is very, very important, and that changed my life. Being from the field of academics, reading, studying, reading primarily is part of your life, yeah, in academics. And about 12 years back, I was sitting in a session where this evolved resource tells us knowledge is burden. I was, what? All these years from early days up till the age of 34, you've been taught knowledge liberates you. Yeah? And here is an individual, he's not an ordinary individual, very evolved personality, quotes from a scripture and says, knowledge is burden. It is a bondage. And then this individual goes to throw some light on this particular point. You and I can know, you know. What matters is, what do you do with those talents and what you know? That matters a lot. Knowing is not enough. You have to live it. And once you have lived it, can you be without that? It is said, people who know a lot, many a times, they are not simple people.
To ask ourselves every
You need to ask yourself every day.
Yes.
And if you can dig out those real answers, this is a facade, whether you admit it or not. When you go home, you are not this. Can you be that, what you are, your real you, even now? If yes, you pass the test. And let me tell you, when you listen to these speakers, I listened to this afternoon. These are people who don't pretend they are what they are. You must have seen questions, volleyed questions posed to them, and very, very candidly, they would just say whatever they feel like. A leader doesn't judge himself or herself. And from the spontaneity-driven space that you are, the rightest of the right thing comes, that you have to practice. For doing that, I ask you, कितना और इकट्ठा करोगे बताइए? करो जितना इकट्ठा करना है, but for God's sake, don't miss this moment. And if you are valuing this, what you already have, each one of us sitting in this property, attending TiECON, I'm sure, each one of you must be feeling that way. And if you are not, it is a reminder, consider yourself fortunate that you're sitting here. You're not like many other people outside. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no? So are you in that wow mood, sitting here? You need to ask yourself.
Yes.
You need to ask yourself. This is the first slide, simple slide that I have brought for you. If you can live this day, this is life, this is the moment. I'm not waiting for, I'll share a story with you. Some 6 months back, I was taking a session with an organization, and later on, when they invited me, I said, none. He said, what? I said, yes, none. He says, how do you explain that? I said, you are waiting for a day when you'll turn a billionaire and you'll do charity. I'm doing charity to your house today. For I consider myself fortunate. Do you consider yourself fortunate that way, that you are already rich? If yes, congratulations. If not, start thinking about it. That's how, when the questions would drop and wonder would start happening in our life. Can I have the next slide? You all when I said it, must have already said, बहुत आसान है ये बात बोलना, पर होता नहीं है, नहीं होता. You have to practice it. And let me take you through. How does it happen? The question that I pose here is, how do we do it? Excuse me and forgive me sometimes if I, in my writing, have used the word you. I would very rarely use the word you. I would say we. I include myself in the whole space. It's not about me and you. It is about us. How do we do it? How do we celebrate? How do we be in that particular space where we are in the wow moment every minute? Let me tell you, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is a question of what versus who. Many of us, we are talking about what leaders said in the sessions on the ground floor, what they said. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter what is being said. What matters is who says it. That gives it weight. Yes, knowing what exactly the reality is, not it. Which each one of us we have to remember. Next, please. Yes.
So, I mean, what you said,
Yeah.
that's in practical situations you do that, right?
Yeah.
The kind of business we do,
Yeah.
like your subordinate has not done what you wanted,
Yeah.
or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
What do you do?
If you have a garbage truck moving ahead of you in your car, it is okay to be having your nasals suffocated with that open garbage truck. It's okay. It's okay. That's reality. But next day, when you're on the same road and the truck is not there,
Still creative.
you're remembering that bad smell in your nasals and living it. That's what I was referring to.
That's okay.
You get my point?
Yeah.
What happens is with many people, once they move into a negative space, they start celebrating that.
Pleasure you get out of that.
Sadistic, masochistic, whatever you call it. Either you harm others or you start harming yourself. We have to be careful about that space that I was talking about when I was saying positive. Being happy. Are you all happy?
Yes.
Are you all happy?
Yes.
Why?
Generally.
Why are you happy? Tell me.
Why do we need a reason?
We don't need any reason to be happy. Mind it, even I'm rushing through this particular session, but if you ask somebody, are you happy? The person starts thinking of all those times when you are sad. Yes or no? You start thinking about all those factors that make you sad. I ask you, are you happy? And you're thinking of all those things, the traffic, the person, you all have a cruising or a villain in your life. You start thinking about that particular person. I ask you, are you happy?
How can I be happy?
My dear friends, you need a reason to be unhappy. You don't need any reason to be happy.
Exactly.
I'm happy. You ask any happy person, stop him or her. Hey, why are you jumping around? I don't know. I'm happy, plain happy. Simple. Yes or no? We were also like that up till some years back when we were in our college or in the university. God knows what happened after that. We need to be addressing that. We need to be addressing. Can I request each one of you sitting or standing in this hall say that I'm happy?
I'm happy.
Once again.
I'm happy.
Once again.
I'm happy.
Say it every day 3 times and chances are you'll have a big smile on your face which people would start asking you what happened in TiECON. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's a continuous, constant reminder to ourselves that I'm happy. In English, there are a lot of phrases. It says, count your blessings. Yeah. Look around you in your life. You have so much to be In gratitude, I would say, I'm coming to that. Can I have the next slide, please? But doesn't mean there won't be rough patches. And this particular part, partially, I was talking about in the last session when we were talking about challenges on the ground floor, uncertainties. Businesses are businesses because there are uncertainties associated with it. And so is with life. Somebody must have asked the organizers, what's going to happen in that CEO's forum? They must have said, we'll tell you there. We don't know. Yeah? That's precisely how life is. Life doesn't tell you what is going to happen tomorrow. No. It's big uncertainty. But the question is, are you ready? Are you prepared to be facing all times, all kinds? If yes, chances are sailing through those times would be much easier. If you are not prepared, if you have not built your capacity to be dealing with those times, you might collapse. लोगों को तो खुशी भी जीनी नहीं आती, पता है आपको? I'm sorry, I don't want to drop any names. Once they generate wealth, it is related to your domain, not my domain. They start putting it in some obnoxious projects. 10 years down the line, time would tell them. Because now they are so happy, they don't know what to do with it. And it happens with not many people. Yes or no? Preparing yourself, being that equanimous mindset, equanimity driven. This as well as that. I'm a habit on daily basis. Who can challenge you? Not even the uncertainties. That's precisely, we are a very, very rich nation, minded. Chances are every time you meet a successful person, that is the person who's practicing all this, what we are talking about. Next slide, please. Failure. It's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. I still remember, this is a very personal story. We have a daughter who's 14 now. She was 4 then. And she comes back home and says, tomorrow I'm not going to go to school, at the age of 4. And my wife asked her, Anna, what is the issue? What happened in the school? She says, tomorrow they have asked me to recite a poem in front of the whole class. And I don't want to go. She says, why don't you want to go, and why don't you want to recite this poem in front of the whole class? She says, I'm afraid. Are you listening? Are you listening? I learned it from my wife that day. She could have said it to her, hey, what's there to be fearful of? You shouldn't be afraid. Go. Tell your story, tell your poem, and come back. Nothing is going to go wrong. No, but this is not what she wants to do. My dear ones, this world deals with it in a very different way. I again come back in vernacular. कोई आपको 20 साल बाद मिले और आपको बोले, "Oh, तू तो बदल गया." Yeah? You, in a very apologetic manner, say, no, I'm the same. Because the world has given you this learning that you should not change. And the reality is that if you do not change with changing times, with changing situations, if you do not redefine yourself, you'll be removed. Yes or no?
Yes.
So, with the changing times, it's okay to change and carry no guilt about it. वर्नाकुलर में बोलते हैं, वो बंदा की जड़ा बदल जाए. And actually, what it should be is, वो इंसान क्या जो बदले ना. But look at it. What is the burden that we are carrying on our shoulders? And that's what stops us from blossoming.
Dr. Guru, there is, I think there's a dilemma or dichotomy there. Where they say कि बंदा क्या जो बदल जाए, means your value system does not change. You adapt to the environment as you keep growing up, but your values should remain.
Yeah. Depends on what we are talking about. What changes are we talking about? Yeah, you're right.
Classify values.
We are not talking about all the things in that bracket.
Sure.
Can I have the next slide, please?
Change. We were trained that you should be focused.
Yeah.
So pivoting or focus or have a commitment and determination on one particular task.
Yeah.
And it might be a long term, maybe 1 year. So how the change affects that one whole year. If I keep building my whole idea and product, I may dilute my whole energy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the times in which we are living, if you put your focus on a goal today, chances are the means to reach that goal in the next 24 hours are going to change. You would not be able to attain your goal because you haven't changed on the way. Are the ones who are leading them because they have experiences, insights. And it is from that particular space that I'm talking about. And yes, what you are talking about is you don't go and preach this. It is said, ideals are preached and reality is lived. It has to be a blend of the two. But you don't come here and start speaking an eye for an eye. You don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? But the only way in the management schools, in the business schools, in universities, in every other place is that us not moving away from what is real reality. Something, sir, which doesn't change with time. Not moving away from that particular space. Knowing that very well. Being firmly footed on the ground and taking a flight. That's the mantra. Next, please. Yeah, next. Secret is this. You ask me, how does it happen? Each one of us, I'm saying us, if we have one node or multiple nodes of inspiration, my dear friends, we'll be able to attain it. In drawing room conversations in the late evenings over drinks, when we say, oh, youngsters today, they are very shallow. The value system is completely eroded. They don't know how to deal with situations. It is because you are not inspiring them. This mixed group, us people who are on the other side of the 40s, would know it very, very clearly that we had these nodes of inspiration in our teachers, in somebody in relations, in friend circle of our parents. There was somebody who was a very towering, very tall figure who used to inspire us. Oh, I wish to be like that particular person. Thank you.
Isn't it pessimism that we are looking at youngsters too? I mean,
Sorry?
Isn't it the way, if you say that we are looking at the youngsters as shallow?
I'm not saying it. I said that's how people talk about in the drawing rooms late in the evenings. Not me. And even if that prevails, even if I'm saying, even if that prevails, the blame is on us. And if we are that, a reminder that we need to be discovering, structuring these nodes of inspirations in our life. And this node of inspiration is not always a person. It could even be a purpose. Some people are driven with a purpose, that I wish to contribute this into the society. And they make it very big in their life. So these nodes of inspiration could be an individual, it could be a purpose. But chances are, are you listening? Chances are, if you have your pursuit of making wealth, generating wealth, coupled with a purpose, will be able to do good rather than doing it as only as making money. Chances are, I'm not saying absolutely. Next, please. And. Being in. Can you say it loudly? Being in. Last 1.5 decades or so, as a practitioner on this path called life, if I have distilled some things for myself, and if you give me an opportunity to share it with you, it would be, can you say it with me? I'm fortunate. Can you say it?
I'm fortunate.
Can you say it?
I'm fortunate.
Can you say it once again?
I'm fortunate.
Once again.
I'm fortunate.
People who consider themselves fortunate, they are never sad.
Yes.
So can you say it with me? I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Once again.
I'm happy.
Once again.
I'm happy.
I'm fortunate. I'm happy. Can you say it?
I'm fortunate. I'm happy.
If you are fortunate and if you are happy, it is your responsibility to rub on to others, to multiply that. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So say, I shall never say no. To the things where we need to say yes. Don't say that I will never say no to that. Please don't read me wrong. I'm talking about yes space there. If you are a practitioner of this on daily basis, if you live this, my dear friends, sky is the limit, and each one of you could be inspiring enough resources for the posterity, for the generations ahead, to be having guiding words from you. Thank you very much for your patience.
Of they getting over you, which probably your wealth of or your wisdom. So how do you cope with that? How do you let the youngsters grow over you, with you, or under you? I mean,
And open it now. We can't control themselves. Howsoever hard you try, and if you are in this spice and carrying them along without controlling behind, with me, or ahead of me, if you are not judging them that way, chances are they'll be our co-associates in this. My submission to each one of you is, for God's sake, write your own script for your life. Don't write other people's scripts. And don't let anybody else write script for you. You write your own script and move ahead in this journey called life. I hope I could answer that, sir. Thank you. My dear friends, I told you which is the only possibility and the reality that prevails. Anything below this, anything other than this doesn't work. But why people lock themselves or resist changes is because of the same reason. It is because of the same reason, mark my words, it's because of the same reason that one wants to open a restaurant, the other one wants to become a fighter pilot. What are you influenced with in your life in the yesteryears? It's just not. Today, 1 hour long session, not even 1 hour as we started at 4:35?
10 minutes late.
4:40. 4:40 and 5:40 in 1 hour, I would have an impact on you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Imagine these individuals who resist change. They have an impact of people that they are cohabiting with for years together. For years together, for years together. So taking a flight out of that particular space is not that easy for them. Give them space, give them time. If you can change in 10 years, if you have become what you are in 10 years, at least give them some years. Don't expect them to change in 10 minutes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Each one of us, we would be moving at our own pace because of any number of reasons, the dictating factors in our lives. It is just not that the same map, the same speed, and no challan for you and a challan for me. That's a possibility. Because your life is a different one, my life is a different one. But this is the only and only reality that we need to be familiar with. On the way, there could be individual flavors. And some people might change very fast. Some people might resist it. Some might be in between the spectrum. And that's how we acknowledge it. I hope I could answer.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
About that song that you talk about?
Oh my.
So I'll give the mic to him. Before that, let me propose a vote of thanks to him, and I will do it his way by saying that I'm very fortunate to have him here.
I'm very happy to
Yeah. I'm going to that. Okay. I'm very fortunate to have you here. You have made me very happy. And believe me, I will never say no to your session next time. So give a big round of applause to Dr. Dua. Before that, he will end up with a very beautiful song. He will explain it in a different version. But before that, give big round of applause to Dr. Dua.
Session is closed already. Yeah. So there's the informal part of it, not the casual part of it. I listened to this composition some 13 years back. It took me 10 years to understand it. And the day I understood it, I took it as a mission that I share it with as many as possible. But I understood it very well the day I understood it. It was because of the reason that I had that journey of 10 years behind me. It is from that particular space that I wish to share with this with you. It's written by a Pakistani shair, sung by Abida Parveen. I do not know whether you are aware of or not. It's Urdu poem. It's called Ji Chahe To. Okay? Okay? The opening lines are, it's your free will. Nobody can give you anything until and unless you want it. It is you who decides what's going to happen to you. So the opening lines of this composition are Ji Chahe, and it says Ji Chahe to Shisha ban ja. Okay? Ji chahe to shisha ban ja, ji chahe paimana ban ja. The glass. Both are made up of the same material. A window pane and the glass. Teri marzi hai tujhe kya banna hai. One is fixed for life. Yeah? The day it will be unfixed, it will be shattered. Yes or no?
Yes.
And there is another one which is not fixed, which is being used every day and is better than that. That's how I see it. They are both made up of the same material. Each one of us, we have to dictate and decide what do we wish to be in our lives. Ji chahe to shisha ban ja, ji chahe. It's an informal session. We can say that. Ji chahe to shisha ban ja, ji chahe paimana ban ja. An empty glass is no good, my dear friends. If you put it in a It will say almirah, even if it's made up of Czech crystal, is no good until and unless you put it something into that glass. Yes or no?
Yes.
So he says, Shisha paimana kya banna? Meh ban ja. You become that real thing that comes in that glass. And this is your responsibility. What are you generating wealth for? For your small family? Or for this society and for this nation and to make this world a better place? You have to decide. Chicharito. Shisha paimana kya banna? Meh ban ja. But after a few swigs and gulps, even that's going to be finished. Yes or no?
Yes.
So he says, Meh khana ban ja. Become the whole shop. Shisha paimana kya banna? Meh ban ja. Khana ban ja. And my dear friends, you have to announce happy hours after a particular hour to invite people there.
Always.
Always. Because if there is no individual in that particular place, that place is no good.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So Mekhana is also no good. The meaning to the whole place is given by a person who visits such a place. Yes or no?
Yes.
So if you are doing the business, my dear friends, your real heroes are your customers. Yes or no?
Yes.
So once in a while, it's worthwhile to be in those shoes of a customer of your product and thinking, how do you think about this particular product? That could be the best feedback that we can have. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So he says, Shisha paimana kya banna, meh banja, meh khana banja. And in the, not in the modern day language, but in the olden times, they say it was not easy to be going to such a place. It was a taboo. And people never used to be finding it good to be visiting such a place. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
He says, Hasti se vegana banja. You drop your identities. You and I, sitting here, would be carrying multiple roles. We would be wearing a lot of hats. As a businessman, as this and that. Drop all those small identities and become that limitless one that you are, which is not in a small room. It says, Hasti se vegana banja. And let me tell you, ये हर इंसान के बस की बात नहीं। अगर आप में जज्बा है, पैशन है, तभी आप कहीं पहुंच पाएंगे। तभी आप ऐसी टाइकॉन्स को और बहुत सारी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस को लीड करेंगे इन द डेज अहेड। यस और नो?
Yes.
So it says, हस्ती से बेगाना बन जा, तू ऐसा दीवाना बन जा. Have the passion for whatever you are doing in your life. ये बीच-बीच की थोड़ी-थोड़ी एवरेज बात नहीं चलेगी. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no? It says, हस्ती से बेगाना बन जा, तू ऐसा दीवाना बन जा. And after this one line, and I'm going to close it. Here, you listen to this, it's available on YouTube. Here, the writer of this composition, six. Do you know what he says? दीवाना बनने से दीवाना होना अच्छा. And that says it all. Let's not become good. Let's be good. And remember, if you are not that, it's not that which can take you to that place. So have that kind of a passion. Be that. And chances are, I'm against keeping some scope for uncertainties. Chances are, you will live a full life. Thank you once again.